I mean, brother, when you see a video of certain things, you ain't seeing the shit that happens before that video. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't seeing shit in my perspective. You seeing it out of a video perspective on World Star.
Now, I'm not usually a hater when it comes to these type of videos. Today's topic is a great example of everything wrong with the time when rappers became famous by going viral. Today's rapper can be summed up in 3 points. 1. He's a white rapper who uses the N-word constantly. 2. He's as fake as a Kardashian. And 3. He talks tough like a pit bull but has the bite of a toothless chihuahua. He rose to fame around 2014, going viral with his YouTube single Brick in Your Face. Stitches was a rapper with a backstory meant to make even the toughest rappers look soft. He claimed he was expelled for beating up a principal, started selling drugs around 14, and had multiple arrests, none of which seemed to exist in any police records. Stitches has been exposed as a wannabe. He had beef with the game but got into a physical altercation with the game's manager. He claimed he had cancer that disappeared overnight, signed with the same person that knocked him out, and tried to start drumming with both Wifi's funeral and Meek Mill. Not once has he come out on top. Today, we'll be taking a look at the disaster that is Stitches. Let's begin.
Thinking. 7, leave your fat ass blinking. What the f you thinking, little fat tub of lard? Lil Phil, my nigga, and I'm probably your mom's one way or another. It's Lil Phil, my nigga. Look, man, I ain't.
Now, Stitches was born around 1995 in North Miami Beach to Esther and Alexander Castabanis. And I have no idea how to pronounce that surname, so let's just stick with it, right? Of Cuban and Greek descent, he was the youngest of 3 brothers. However, his parents went through a very bitter divorce before he was even a year old. While details about his early life are surrounded by rumors and exaggerations, it's clear it was not easy. His mother got a permanent restraining order against his father, who was allowed only supervised visits with his children. His father was also ordered to attend anger management classes, but became a true deadbeat dad with plenty of evidence like missed child support payments. And this was despite him living in a luxurious 2-floor, 5-bedroom waterfront home and consistently skipping his visits with his kids. Because of this, Stitches said he had no relationship with his father. Other than that, he seemed to have a fairly normal suburban life. His mother went on to remarry twice before Stitches gained fame, and when he was 12, she began dating a Miami-Dade police detective. This was one of the first signs that Stitches might not be as authentic as he claimed. When people called him out for it later, he defended himself by saying he could not control who his mother dated. "I can't control who my mom dates. He has never done me wrong. If people want to talk bad about it, that is their problem. I don't give a damn about it." Since he became famous, Stitches' family have refused to either confirm or deny his claims about his childhood, although his brothers have backed up his claim that he made a living selling drugs. The family constantly ignores the door when reporters come knocking, and on the off chance a reporter catches one of them, they say that Stitches does not want to involve his family in his music. Despite that, the rapper claims to have a very close relationship with his mother, despite also claiming to have moved out and grown up very fast at a young age. "I've been living on my own since I was like 14 years old, so it ain't shit. There was no saying if I could get it or not. I had a different lifestyle, man. I grew up fast. I've been living on my own, doing my own thing, making my music, my money, just hustling." Now, around 2015, Stitches spent a lot of time with Miami New Times, which published a story based on his recollections. However, their research exposed major contradictions, turning the piece into more of an expose than an article. It highlighted just how fake many of Stitches' claims were, casting doubt on almost everything he'd ever said. For example, He claimed to have moved out of his mother's house at around 14 years old, the same age he sold his first Coca-Cola bottle, and moved to South Beach. There, he supposedly rented penthouses and rode around in exotic cars. But he explained this by saying he was dating older women who signed leases for him. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know any woman that would risk jail time for a kid who had barely hit puberty. But that's just me, and I know the world's a crazy place. Now, Stitches also claimed that he was expelled from G. Holmes Braddock Senior High School during the first week of his freshman year for punching the principal. He was talking too much crap. He said, "You think you're gonna be the next Lil Wayne, but you ain't gonna be shit." So I stuck him in the face. However, when the magazine reached out to the principal/victim, he denied that the incident ever took place. I know the young man by name. I've been the principal here for 11 and a half years, and that claim is completely false. Meanwhile, classmates tell a story of Stitches being a typical arrogant schoolboy, roaming the halls and doing whatever he wanted, but somehow they cannot recall anything about him being expelled or having a criminal record. The only proof there is that he ever got into trouble is a court document from the late March 2012 stating that a then 16-year-old Stitches had received probation for an unspecified crime. But I highly doubt it was for punching the principal because I don't think he was 16 in freshman year. But school lies aside, on the musical front, Stitches had genuinely been on the hustle since a young age. Early videos of the rapper at 15 show him jumping around and rapping amateur lyrics under the moniker Lil Phil.
My name Lil Phil, ain't nothing left, on my dick, just for the thrill.
Now about a month after the probation incident, which he still won't reveal details about, he updated his moniker to Stitches in order to better reflect the lifestyle he wanted to live. He changed his name shortly after he turned 17 and got a facial tattoo of a stitched smile because snitches get stitches. That's all how I look. The stitches on my mouth. What I stand for is no snitching. Know what I mean? I don't like no snitch. There's no face paint, none of that. It's just who I am. I'm about what I say in my music. You just listen to it and it'll speak for itself. That's basically all I can say, Now around this time, Stitches began showing off his money, hanging out in South Beach with older, chain-wearing thugs. To the average person, he looked like a young hustler because he showed up in flashy cars despite being so young. However, it's possible that those cars were stolen, as his best friend at the time was later convicted of armed carjacking and had a long rap sheet, including grand theft, dealing in stolen property, battery on the police, and strong arm robbery. Now Stitches himself had a spotless record when he became famous. In interviews, he claimed to have been arrested 10 times as a minor for silly things, but refused to give any details, often getting annoyed when asked about it. Whenever he didn't want to answer, he would fall back on insisting that he was exactly what he claimed to be. Now, by 2015, when his fame had peaked, Stitches still had no adult criminal record. Now, despite putting a lot of time into fabricating a false career, Stitches still had time for love. And around 2012, at just 17, Stitches married Erica Duarte, a small brunette who worked as a judicial assistant. Erica was 28 years old at the time, making her 11 years older than him. Years earlier, she was a contestant on the first season of MTV's Paris Hilton's My New BFF. Now for context, Stitches was only around 13 years old when the show aired, while Erica was 24. Shortly after their marriage, Erica gave birth to their first son, Rex, around 2013. Their second son, Rocco, followed around mid-2014. Now shortly before Rocco's birth, Stitches began to kick it into overdrive to try and really make it as a rapper. Around March of 2014, he legally trademarked the name Stitches, and a month later he dropped his debut mixtape, No Snitching Is My Statement.
They wanna see me dead, but I got
Days later, the music video for Brick in Your Face dropped on World Star Hip Hop.
I put that brick in your face. Now what you gonna do with it? Now what you gonna do with it? Now what you gonna do with it?
The video, which was dropped on YouTube just before the mixtape, quickly went viral, racking up around 7 million views in a week. That's according to him. To date, the video has received about 32 million views, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a banger. The video, which he dropped when he was only 18 years old, quickly went to his head, and he began to think he was the hottest thing since Texas. He then claimed to have recorded songs with Trinidad James and Diplo, and that he was working on something with the Insane Clown Posse and Travis Barker. But none of these alleged songs, if they happened in the first place, ever came out. Although years later, he would eventually collaborate with ICP.
My new album coming out has like 7 songs. I already recorded them. I'm just gonna surprise drop it. I don't even know the name yet. I'm gonna know. I'm just gonna make like a whole bunch of new albums now. A lot of new music and crazy music videos. Like I haven't been putting out no videos for a long time right now. For a little while, for a good amount of months. Now I'm gonna come and just hit him with the quickness. Just bah!
In addition to claiming to be working with major stars, Stitches also began to get arrogant with nightclub investors, demanding more money for his performances, as well as paid flights for both himself, his bodyguard, and his entourage. In one case, he was offered $9,000 plus flights for himself and his bodyguard, which he counted with $11,000 plus flights for himself, his bodyguard, and 3 others. He was not big enough to make such demands, and in this instance, the whole deal was cancelled because of his arrogance. To grow his online following, he tried gimmicks and giveaways, but these efforts often backfired. Now eventually Stitches' antics began to catch up to him, and several of his fans began to see him as phony. In one instance, Stitches threw a gold chain out of his sunroof on the I-95, recording it and posting it to his Instagram account. 20 minutes later, a fan stuck in traffic on the same highway saw the clip and decided to look for the chain. Luckily, he found it because the traffic was bumper to bumper. But when he took the chain to the pawn shop to get an accurate price, the man behind the counter revealed the chain had actually been copper and was simply gold plated. Now when the fan tried to call him out on Instagram, Stitches blocked him and made himself look even more guilty in the process. Months later, Stitches was outed again, this time by a female fan. The rapper had posted a clip where he showed up at a fan's South Miami residence. He pulled out a stack of $100 bills and told the woman that she had won 10 grand before affirming that this shit is real. The woman was ecstatic, hugging him and thanking him, but soon after, she gave an interview where she revealed that he had taken the money back and only given her $100. It turns out Stitches was trying to gain brownie points from the public. However, the negativity began to gain traction, and then people lost all faith in anything Stitches had to say. Now, a few months after Stitches dropped Brick in Your Face, a 30-year-old Broward County rapper named John Paul dropped a diss track aimed at Stitches, hoping to incite some kind of back and forth. The song was called Controversies Sells and parodied Brick in Your Face, calling Stitches out for being fake with bars like, "You ain't moving bricks, you ain't popping shells, you ain't in the trap, you ain't pumping crack." What y'all think of that?
Controversy sells, you ain't tipping scale, you ain't moving bricks, you ain't popping shells.
Now, instead of taking advantage of the drama to prove his mettle, Stitches took to Twitter to diss Paul, tweeting, "This only got 5,000 views on the music video. You're a joke, boy." Now, Stitches refused to address the matter in interviews, and whenever people ask Stitches like, "Yo, you claim you're some heavyweight drug dealer, right? Does that mean you're still in the business, huh?" And then Stitches would go, "Honestly, I would still be doing it right now, but the feds are watching me and they follow me everywhere I go, right?" According to Stitches, law enforcement officials were following him, hoping to catch him selling that product. Because of this, He said he had quit dealing drugs and would now focus solely on music. Convenient, isn't it? But what do I know, right? Now, all the information in the Miami News Times expose was compiled into an article and sent to the rapper for fact-checking, including details the reporters had verified themselves, such as his lack of a prison record. In response, Stitches called the reporter, unleashing a phone call filled with swearing and insults, and followed it up with a threatening text. "Hope your fake story is worth the ass beating that you're gonna get, lil nigga. Doubt me, I dare you, sucker." Well, the article was published, and despite the threats, no one got their ass beat, and no one faced a lawsuit. Instead, it went on to be one of the most read articles on the site, and it became fairly common knowledge that Stitches was a phony. Despite the controversy and continuously more scandalous stories he would dig up, people paid very little attention to him, dismissing him as a briefly trending viral topic. Around September of 2014, the rapper proved exactly how whipped he truly was when he was caught on camera with his wife shutting down his entire show over an argument. In the aftermath, videos captured him pleading with his wife and begging people to stop filming. The meet and greet event scheduled after the show was cancelled, and while Stitches trended online once again for fighting with his wife, which might have been organized by the both of them, it was purely as a laughingstock. Unsurprisingly, he refused to address the incident. Now, around 2015, Stitches dropped 2 more mixtapes, Brick Bible and Supply and Demand.
Bricks in the attic. I dare that nigga to run up on me. I hit him up with that static.
As well as his debut album for drug dealers only.
When times get hard, keep your head up. Flip on that corner and get your bread up.
But despite releasing music over the next few years, he would never even remotely match the impact of his viral hit, Brick in Your Face. What did make the headlines was his increasingly bizarre stories. This year he would continue to trend, claiming that he slept with Kylie Jenner, also having an extensive feud with the Game, and his apparent, very brief stint with cancer. Let's start from the beginning. In an interview with Touch magazine around September of 2015, Stitches made allegations that he slept with Kylie Jenner. Keep in mind that Kylie was 18 years old at the time and was in a relationship with Tyga. Now, according to him, they did some substances together and had a sordid affair, which he described in explicit detail. Perhaps too much detail, but according to Stitches, he met Kylie Jenner through a mutual friend, Ink Monster. Allegedly, they met for a date, and one thing led to another. According to him and Kylie Jenner did it all, and he also claimed to have proof of their get-together. "I did cocaine with Kylie and then slept with her while she was in a relationship with Tyga. And if Tyga has one problem with anything I gotta say about his girl, he can come see me whenever he wants. I'll beat the shit out of him." Now, unfortunately for Stitches, if this was true, after their one-night stand, Kylie ghosted him. She blocked his calls and would not answer his messages. So Stitches did the sensible thing and decided to back off. Now I'm just pulling your chain. Stitches dropped a diss track and a video with Ink Monster aimed at her boyfriend Tyga. The track was called Kyga, She's a Liar, and insulted the more popular rapper while also sharing way too much about his own exploits with Kylie.
That name Tiger. If she said that she's a liar.
Now, after the video came out, Tyga's managers reached out to Stitches' managers and threatened that if they didn't take the video down, it would result in violence. Now, Stitches did not take this too lightly and claimed that if Tyga came after him, it would be like a death wish and that he would stomp the f*** out of him. However, much like many of Stitches' threats, this one did not amount to anything. Sources within the Kardashian circle claimed that Kylie insisted it was all a lie. Tyga never responded to Stitches, and this beef fizzled out. Meanwhile, his own wife, Erica, had their third child, a daughter named Evelyn. Now, because Stitches had confessed to having an affair with Kylie Jenner, his marriage fell apart and their split was announced around 2017. Then around November 2015, he trended again, this time for beating cancer. In fact, back in April of that year, he dropped a freestyle called F the Police, which had the following lines in them. And now I got cancer, so just know I do not care. The next time them run up, they right there. However, shortly after, some sources say a day, some sources say a few months, Stitches shared some good news with his fans. In a video filmed from the front seat of his car, the rapper screamed, "I ain't got cancer no more. I took that out my neck. Stitches gonna live forever, man." Then around 2016, he began to allege that he had cancer once again. But by this time, his fans were like, look, we're not falling for this a second time. Good luck. Now, perhaps the rapper's most widely publicized moment of the year came around October of 2015. Tired of beefing with the people that ignored him, Stitches set his sight on a much bigger target, the game.
Alright, so how did the issues with the game start?
Well, when I had a problem with Tiger, I saw some tweet about the nigga talking about he gonna pull someone's hair or some shit. He was just talking mad shit, bro, and I know who it was directed to. And I'm a real nigga, dog, so any beef that I gotta handle, bro, I address it, and that's it. It is what it is, dog.
And he did it in a way that the game could not ignore, by questioning his street cred and gang affiliations. Now, the game has been known to reference ties to the Bloods in his lyrics, and in early October, Stitches posted a video to Instagram in which he was driving around listening to Drake's Hotline Bling as he questioned the game. I know Bloods and Crips in Compton. They all say you a bitch ass nigga, bruh. Except only thing with me is, I'm affiliated with them. I ain't a Blood or a Crip. It's TMI gang or nothing. When you got the balls to come see me, put 100 though on it. Stitches then captioned the video, "Don't claim something you not, at Los Angeles Confidential. Trust me boy, I got goons in every city. Real with me the long way." He also posted a series of images of alleged direct messages from the game. "You think you funny? I thought we was good. Hashtag Pyru. I'ma show everyone how you a fake ass. And don't try to apologize when you send subliminals through Twitter, sucker." Now, in response, the game had a lot to say. He claimed that Stitches was faking the entire conversation to make it seem like he was talking to the game when he wasn't. He claimed Stitches makes Wack music, and that when Stitches approached him in Miami for a picture, he looked Stitches up and down and thought, "I'm not taking a picture with you." And then he said it to his face. So Stitches hears what the game has to say and responds with the following. "Shut your stupid ass up, bruh. You know ain't nobody tried to get no picture with your ugly ass." And then he says, "So stop talking through Instagram and meet me up." Now they continue to go back and forth on social media until around December of 2015 when their feud came to a head. Stitches and a couple of his friends pulled up to a club where the game was performing. And when they got there, they were immediately denied entry according to the game's instructions. The crew then loitered around the club, waiting for the game to leave so that they could confront him. They cruised around in a very nondescript pearl white Porsche and hung around so long that the police were getting suspicious and confronted them. Nothing happened here, but eventually, the game got out of the club where Stitches confronted him only to be knocked out in one punch by the game's manager, Wack 100.
Yeah, I don't know why he wanted to play with me. And luckily, Wack got to him before I did, because he was walking straight at me, but what was about to happen then was about to be so fucking crazy. But he ran into Wack before. He ran into Wack's fists before he got to me.
In the video of the incident, which also went viral, Stitches fell to the ground and blacked out for a few seconds before trying to go back at Wack. Both Wack and Stitches were arrested, Wack for obvious reasons, while Stitches was taken into custody for resisting an officer without violence, marijuana possession, and outstanding warrants. Meanwhile, Game took to Instagram to share the story, and he basically laughs at Stitches for getting knocked out. Hey man, that man Stitches got his whole mouth bust open in front of the f***ing police. Man. He then proceeded to mock Stitches even further, to which Stitches responded by saying, "Facts. Good sucker punch though. Wartime. Next time fight me instead of having your boy sucker punch me. And yeah, I got 4 stitches. You know I'm Stitches. Let's not forget you got knocked out in France. We all take a fall sometimes." Now after being punched by Wack 100 and spending a night in jail, a video surfaced of Stitches being jumped by his own crew, which he claims was orchestrated by the game.
I'm letting y'all know before it even comes out. Remember I told you got jumped? The video coming out now. Ain't shit to a G like me, cause it just showed me you can't trust nobody. But I promise you ain't nobody ever gonna catch me slipping again.
Now despite Game clearly ignoring him, Stitches dropped a diss track at the game called Don't Fear Death, challenging the game to a fight. And this was around the time that the game was beefing with Meek Mill. Now in the middle of his troubles, Stitches and his family were evicted from their home for unpaid rent, and he dropped a flop of an album called Tales of a Drug Lord.
You know I'm cooking. You know I'm whipping.
But just when things were going downhill for Stitches, he decided to reach out to Wack 100, and Wack 100 said the following: "Just got a call from a grown man on some grown man shit. Stitches under new management." That's right, Stitches was now being managed by the same guy that knocked him out. Now as if that was not strange enough, Stitches and the game was still in the middle of the beef, and Stitches was still trying to get the game's attention, and this lasted until September of 2016. This was around the time that Stitches and his wife were evicted from their home, and around the time he dropped his second studio album, Tales of a Drug Lord. But at this point, not even Wack 100's affiliation could save his career. Now around May of 2016, Stitches went viral again for another controversial incident. This time it involved a fan. A video on World Star Hip Hop showed an excited fan in the front row getting a bit too wild during the rapper's performance. The fan lightly hit Stitches in the stomach while trying to climb halfway onto the stage, seemingly reaching for the rapper's shirt. Maybe afraid of being embarrassed again, this time by a fan, Stitches appeared to overreact. He immediately got ready to fight and swung aggressively with his left hand from the stage, though the swing didn't really do much damage. The situation escalated as both Stitches and the fan became angrier and possibly influenced by substances. The fan threw something at Stitches, but the rapper dodged it and the object hit a security guard instead. The guard, who seemed as clumsy as Stitches, tried to pull the fan off the stage. However, the fan fought back by pulling the guard's hoodie strings, tightening it around his face. At this point, the music stopped and the crowd got restless. Now after this incident, Stitches kept a lower profile for a while, briefly resurfacing to challenge the game before mostly staying behind the scenes to focus on his music. And it was around this time that Stitches began to fall off the map. The year 2017 was chaotic for Stitches and was probably the last time he remained relevant. He finalized his divorce in this year, dropped 2 studio albums, I Need Rehab and Cocaine Holiday, got arrested for felony gun and marijuana charges, and had a very controversial moment involving the Cash Me Outside girl. The first incident took place in January of 2017 and displays a unique level of audacity for the 21-year-old. In late January, he illegally parked his Porsche in the handicapped spot at a local Whole Foods. It was reported to the police, who then responded to the call. The officer, who recognized Stitches and his many weapons from social media, asked the rapper if he had any weapons in the car. So Stitches was like, "Nah, I don't have anything, but would you like to roll one with me?" And then he pulled out something for the officers to smoke. So now the cops get suspicious, they search his car, and they find a weapon under his driver's seat. Not only that, he has a jar full of Spider-Man's love interest and some pills. He was then arrested on charges of carrying a concealed firearm and possession of substances. Now the next topic is a lot more controversial and frankly a little disturbing. In September of 2016, the Cash Me Outside girl became a sensation when she uttered the phrase "Cash Me Outside" on the Dr. Phil show. 6 months later, around 3 weeks before her 14th birthday, news broke that Stitches had allegedly coerced the youngster into working on a song and video with him. According to Bregoli's team, Stitches had reached out to her team with a vague proposition to work together. Having by that point adopted the moniker of Bhad Baby, she declined the invitation, leading the rapper to reach out to her friends on social media. So Stitches reached out to Bhad Baby's friend and says, "Yo, if you bring Danielle over to my place, I'll give you some money." And by doing this, he managed to coerce the young teens to come to his house and record both a song and a music video. Now, even though Danielle appeared to be very comfortable in the video, her team called him a scumbag for exploiting the young star. They also claimed she was highly uncomfortable during the shoot and wanted nothing to do with the rapper. Now, according to Stitches, on the other hand, there was no money involved, no contract, and Danielle simply wanted to be on the song and video. Now, since they're both extremely cap artists, either story could be true, but no matter which way you spin it, there's something really weird about an older 21-year-old doing a song with a 13-year-old. That's all I'm saying.
Hello, people. It is sad that nowadays the media will make up anything just to make their story better, make up lies. Okay, we met the mutual friends, her best friend Z, and we made a song, and that's all there is to it. Her managers got mad about it, and that's it. So to go and make up lies, take that shit somewhere else, right? And for all the people talking about her 15 minutes of fame are gonna end and that she's a bad person, listen, I met her. She is a good person, okay? And she is a superstar. And you can't judge people upon what you see on the media. I met her. She's a good person. Take my word for it.
Now, I think it was around this point that Stitches crossed the line where he could make no recovery. Everything he had done up to this point was simply attention-seeking and bravado, and his name dipped further and further out of the headlines since he wasn't able to capture the audience's attention with music and not gimmicks. Now, around 2018, he went on to beef with another rapper by the name of Wifi's Funeral, who formed part of the XXL freshman class. The feud began over a video of the late controversial rapper XXXTentacion claiming that Stitches ran Florida's underground hip-hop scene. Wifi disputed the claim, leading to the pair engaging in an all-out social media beef. Stitches then responded with his own profanity-laden response, dubbing Wifi's Funeral as not straight and saying he only weighs about 140 pounds. Stitches also claimed he would snap him like a Kit Kat and seemed like he was not about to let this go anytime soon. Now, at first, Wifi's Funeral did not seem to take it much to heart. He posted a series of tweets offering to get Stitches into his show for free, just so Stitches can get slapped up. And then about an hour later, Wifi's Funeral hit back harder with an Instagram video of his own, mocking Stitches and everything he stood for, featuring a face full of ridiculous hand-drawn tattoos. He then went on to mock Stitches by saying, "I'll break you like a twig, nigga. I'll break you like a twig. Don't you know that I throw fake into a fucking crowd? I began this Florida shit. I'm a kid. I once smoked with a 21-year-old because I'm not relevant. Yeah, brother." Now they continue to go back and forth, with Stitches pointing out that he was not 21 years old but 23. And the eventual outcome was that Wifi's Funeral challenged Stitches to a 10K boxing match on WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 on the PSP. And how sad is that? Stitches then agreed but upped the stakes to 40K and added in a clause that if he wins, Wifi's Funeral had to refer to him publicly as Zaddy. So now, since the pair of them were more or less equally irrelevant, it's unclear if the console fight ever happened. Wifi neither announced his victory nor proclaimed Stitches as Zaddy, but Stitches did drop a very whack diss track at Wifi's Funeral called, well, The Funeral.
Use a duck, quack, 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 quack. 50 Cent, get the strap, 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 strap.
Now since then, the rapper has kept more or less to himself. Around 2018, he dropped the albums Bipolar and Time for Murder, and in 2019 he dropped the mixtape Brick Bible 2, as well as finally collaborating with Insane Clown Posse on a track 8 Ways to Die. Over the course of his career, he did try to smartly invest what money he made, and some of these investments include a clothing line called the Riff Raff Collection, a tattoo shop in Miami called the Rabbit Hole, as well as an unspecified strip club. Now around 2020 he dropped another studio album called Married to the Bricks, after which he essentially disappeared.
You got a newcomer, keep it on the low, cause you could die in these streets, that's just how it goes.
He dropped music on YouTube, but he became less and less active on social media. Lately it seems like Stitches has completely fallen off, but every now and then he posts something on YouTube. Now while it's pretty clear that the artist has been all caps since the moment he came out, he definitely had his 15 minutes of fame. Now, however, sources say that Stitches is heavy on the substances, and at this point it's very doubtful that he will ever regain respect in the game. On YouTube he has about 800,000 subscribers, on Spotify he has about 300,000 monthly listeners, and his most listened to tracks include Molly Cyrus, I'm So Lost, When I Die, Brick in Your Face, and Feel Good. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. What happened to Stitches in your opinion? Let me know down below. New What Happened to video dropping soon. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.